What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over X-Men comics as we work our way up to Days of Future Present, the next crossover that we are going to talk about. But first, we got to jump back over to New Mutants, and the reason why, because we got to cover a two-part story arc where we do see Cable begin the process of becoming the new mentor for the New Mutants, their new teacher, but also their new leader, as they take on new kinds of missions they never taken before. But also, we see the death of Sabertooth, or the supposed death of Sabertooth. And you see what I mean as we go through today's video. And so the opening pages of this book does remind us of the Mutant Massacre. Now remember, the Mutant Massacre was the first big X-Men crossover where you had the Marauders, a new team at that time, go into the tunnels of the Morlocks and kill off most of the Morlocks. Not all of them, just most of them. Now some other survivors did stay with Mormon Taggart on Muir Island, but some of the others had returned back to the tunnels of the Morlocks. Now, the opening pages of this book, we do pick up with Sabertooth, who was a member of the Marauders, still is, but when it comes to Sabertooth, he feels like he has to go back down in the tunnels to make sure that he actually finished off the job by killing off the Morlocks who had returned to the tunnels. Now, we do see one Morlock who's technically blind, but he's able to see in the dark. But he also knows that Sabertooth is nearby. But unfortunately, this Morlock is not ready to go up against Sabertooth and easily killed off by him. Now, there is somebody else in the sewers as well, and that would be Caliban. Now, the last time we saw Caliban, he had joined forces with Apocalypse. He became one of Apocalypse, not horsemen, but one of his people. And so currently we see Caliban is now in the sewers, but he looks completely different. Like Apocalypse had changed him, like he did with Archangel. But now we are able to jump over to the New Mutants. Now, with Cable officially taking over the team, he felt like they need their own base. And the last time when it came to the New Mutants, they were staying with X-Factor on their ship. And so now you have Cable and the rest of his now team heading over to the school of Charles Xavier. Now remember, the school was blown up thanks to Mr. Sinister, but not the basement level where the danger room is at and other kind of rooms are at as well. And so when it comes to our heroes, they're going to use this place as their base. Now, for most of the New Mutants, they're new to the school. They never saw the school. They never even heard about the danger room. And so when it comes to Cable, he said, listen, if we are going to be a team, we got to start training now. So at 3 o'clock, let's meet back here and we are going to train in the danger room. Now, we have to jump back over to Caliban, and here is the reason why. So Caliban is trying his best to find Sabertooth, and the reason why, because he remembers that Sabertooth was one of the Marauders, but Sabertooth had killed off most of the Morlocks because that man was bloodthirsty back then. And so for Caliban, Sabertooth has to pay. Now, when it comes to Sabertooth, he knows that Caliban is following him, but either way, he's down for the idea of killing off Caliban. But now we have to jump back over to the New Mutants as we see them inside the danger room, going through their first training with Cable in charge. Now, while going through training, I want to focus on Rictor, and here's the reason why. So, in our last video, when the rest of the New Mutants had brought Cable back home, Rictor recognized Cable automatically. But here's the thing. He does not like Cable at all. In our last video, we had no idea why. But in this video, we do learn a tad bit of why he hates Cable. Because in the middle of the training session, the danger room is too much for Rictor, and the whole entire session has to be stopped. and he walks away angry at himself, but also angry at Cable. And the reason why? Because Cable was involved in some kind of way when it comes to Rictor's father. And we have no idea what exactly happened between Rictor's father and Cable. But Cable does not remember Rictor at all. But now Rictor is going to give us our first major problem of this story. You see, when it comes to Rictor, he had disappeared because while you have our heroes trying on their new outfits that they're going to wear when they're out in the field with Cable, you didn't have Wolfbane run into the room freaking out because she can't find Rictor. And she believes that Rictor has gone into the tunnels of the Morlocks. Now, here is the reason why it's such a problem. Yes, you do have Caliban fighting against Sabertooth, but when it comes to our heroes, they were warned by Jean Grey to not go into the tunnels of the Morlocks, because in our last X-Men video involving Jean Grey, Forge, and Banshee, they had a run-in with Mask, the new leader of the Morlocks, and Mask is doing some crazy dark things at this time in Marvel Comics in the tunnels of the Morlocks. And so Jean told them, hey, to stay safe, do not go into the tunnels at all. But now Rictor has gone into the tunnels. Now, the reason why Rictor had went into the tunnels of the Morlocks is to prove a point. You see, for Rictor, he's saying the team was doing just fine before Cable had arrived. But also the New Mutants are beginning to change completely different, but for the worse. Because he's saying the New Mutants are beginning to take orders like it's no big deal. And before Cable had arrived, this was a team full of teenagers who would not usually follow orders at all. Magneto, X-Factor, you name it. If they were some adult that gave them orders, the New Mutants would disobey. But now Cable comes around and he says, hey, do this, do that. They're all like, yeah, boss, we got you. And so for Rictor, he says, that's not okay at all. And so he went into the tunnels of the Morlocks to take out Mask, to prove that, hey guys, listen, if I was able to take out Mask on my own, that means we don't need Cable, and then things can go back to the old ways. Now, while he is thinking that, he's then he's confronted by Caliban. Now, these two characters, they met before, but Caliban has been changed thanks to Apocalypse, and so he does not remember Rictor at all. But while you have the two characters talking to one another, Sabertooth arrives. Now, as soon as he arrives, he is able to severely injure Rictor. And it seems like Rictor might be killed off by Sabertooth. But then Caliban steps in. And now these two guys are gonna fight against one another. And then, when it comes to Cable and the rest of his team, they're getting ready to go into the tunnels of the Morlocks to hopefully save Rictor in time, because that man needs their help before Sabertooth or possibly Caliban kills him off. And so as we dive into the next chapter, we continue the idea of seeing Sabertooth fighting against Caliban. And really, it's Caliban showing Sabertooth that he is a completely different person than the last time they saw each other. That Caliban does have the ability to possibly take down Sabertooth. Now, for Sabertooth, he believes still that he may have a chance to take down Caliban and still get his hands on Rictor. But at the same time, though, it's Caliban saying, you can try, but I'm going to kill you here and now. And for Rictor, he's scared because he still believes that Sabertooth or Caliban might kill him after one of them win their battle. Now, when it comes to the New Mutants, they do arrive in the tunnels of the Morlocks to hopefully save Rictor. Now, while you have the New Mutants traveling in the tunnels, they are confronted by, well, the Morlocks, and they're being led by Mask. And like I said earlier, the Morlocks are technically not good at the moment because of Mask. And anytime somebody comes into his territory, he does use his ability to change their body appearance. And so when Mask arrives with a group of Morlocks, they surround the New Mutants. And it's kind of like, hey, you're in my tunnels. What are you here for right now? And you have Cable tell him, listen, We only came down here to save one of our own. And that's really it. So please get out of our way. Now, if you don't, we can fight, but most likely you are going to lose. Now for Mask, he kind of realized that Cable's kind of serious right now. Like, Cable's saying, hey, you want to fight? We can fight, but you're going to lose. And so you have Mask walk away. But you do have Mask say, I'm hoping that you other mutants out there will go ahead and kill each other off. Less of a mess for me to clean up down the road. Now, for our heroes, the New Mutants, they do arrive to join in the battle between Sabertooth and Caliban. Now, at first, you do have most of the New Mutants shift their focus onto Sabertooth first. Now, when they do, Sabertooth is able to take the ones out who try to attack him. Now, Caliban does get some attention as well, but that comes later. And matter of fact, once you have our heroes shift their focus over to Caliban and being able to take him down just for a moment here, they realize that Sabertooth has disappeared, but he also has taken Rictor. And this is going to lead into something very important. And here's the reason why. So once you have Sabertooth being able to grab Rictor, you didn't have Rictor being able to push his powers to a new limit as a way to help him to escape here. Now, when it comes to Rictor, at this time in Marvel Comics, he only had the ability of seismic energy, being able to cause huge vibrations in different kinds of objects. And here is the reason why I'm saying that right now, because later on in comics, especially in Excalibur Volume 4, in the whole Krakoa era, his powers got upgraded. But at this time, that's all he could do is cause huge vibrations in different kinds of objects. And so when it comes to Sabertooth, when he does try to attack Rictor, you have Rictor being able to use his powers to a new extent and being able to draw a huge piece of the tunnels right on top of Sabertooth. Now, once you have the New Mutants being able to catch up to Rictor, they do see that he is okay, but unfortunately so is Sabertooth as well. Now, when it comes to our heroes, they're not scared of him anymore. They're kind of like, hey, we're all here together now, and so we should be able to actually take you down very easily. But then the Morlocks arrive. Now, for the Morlocks, they say, hey, he's in our tunnels. And matter of fact, we want revenge against him for what he had done to us back in the Mutant Massacre. But then you have Caliban also arrive. He says, no, none of y'all are going to fight against Sabertooth. I am going to fight against him because right now, I need to give him payback for what he has done to my people, the Morlocks. And so literally, you have everyone just step to the side to allow Caliban to fight against Sabertooth. Now, when it comes to their battle, it does not last that long because you literally have Caliban being able to snap the back and the neck of Sabertooth just like that, instantly. And so we're left to believe in the possibility that Sabertooth is officially dead. Now, after that battle, you do have our heroes return back to their base. And once they do, you have Rictor right now in the medical room getting some medical assistance, but you did have the rest of his team tell him, like, this is your fault. Like, it's your fault that you got severely injured. It's your fault that we almost got killed down there in the Morlock tunnels. Like, what is your deal? Why do you hate Cable so much? Now, for Rictor, he does not tell us why he hates Cable so much, but he does understand that he most likely should give Cable another chance, see if Cable is different than the last time he saw Cable, and possibly work with him and the rest of his team make sure that they survive future missions. And so this is where we're really going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.